project, we will be discussing Albert Bandura's social learning theory and Lawrence Kohlberg's moral development theory. The social learning theory focuses on how individuals learn through personal experience, communication, and observational learning. Social learning theory emphasizes the importance of others in the development of behaviors as the child observes models in their lives, such as parents, coaches, peers, or TV show characters. The moral development theory highlights the thinking processes that occur when an individual decides whether behavior is morally right or wrong. According to Kohlberg's theories, individuals develop based on factors that influence the perception of what is right and wrong. Albert Bandura is an American psychologist and former professor at Stanford University. He believed that behavior is learned from the environment through the process of observational learning. He illustrated this through the famous Bobo doll experiment. This was a controlled experiment study to discover if social behavior such as aggression can be acquired by observation and imitation. A team of researchers physically and verbally abused an inflatable doll in front of a group of children. This led to the children later mimicking the aggressive behavior by attacking the doll in a similar manner when placed in a room full of different toys, including a Bobo doll. The social learning theory is centered around the process of observational learning, which is learning as a result of observation and imitation. Bandura identified 3 models of observational learning. The first is the live model, which involves an individual demonstrating or acting out a behavior. The next model is the verbal instructional model, which involves descriptions and explanations of a behavior. The last model of observational learning is the symbolic model, which involves real or fictional characters that display behavior in books, films, TV shows, or social media. Bandura discovered that we are most likely to imitate models who are prestigious, such as political leaders or famous actors, or models who control resources, such as our parents. He also determined that sometimes behaviors that are learned through observation may not be exhibited until presented with the opportunity to be performed.
Children often actively observe their parents and imitate their behavior. If a father disrespects his wife or treats her poorly in front of their son consistently throughout the child's development years, the boy is more likely to portray this same behavior later in life as he develops intimate relationships. In this video, we will demonstrate an application of the social learning theory.
Hi, honey. Will you help me make dinner?
No, I don't want to help you right now.
Are you
I'm tired.
okay? Is everything okay?
Please do not come near me right now. I just cannot with you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, woman?
Okay, that's fine.
Go! Just get out of here. Gosh. I don't know. Your mom, don't marry anyone like her. She sucks. Total. You know what I mean?
Hey honey, you want coffee? I'm making some.
No. You literally always make it wrong. I do not want that at all. Honestly, I might as well just make it myself. You already put one in there? Are you kidding me?
Did I put the wrong kind?
Yes, you put the wrong kind. You know I hate that. Why can you never do anything right?
I was just trying to help you because you're getting ready for work.
I know, I've had a super stressful day. I don't care.
Lawrence Kohlberg was an American psychologist and former professor at Harvard University. He studied responses to stories and moral dilemmas to see how children of different age groups responded to such issues. Kohlberg wanted to discover the evolution of moral reasoning as individuals develop throughout their lives. He was specifically interested in the reasoning of why children of different ages view certain actions as morally right or wrong. He is best known for his experiment known as the Heinz Dilemma, in which he told a story of a man who could not afford a new drug to save his wife from dying of cancer. He couldn't afford it but was desperate to save his wife, so he ended up stealing the drug. Kohlberg asked a series of questions to children of various age groups, asking them what they thought that Heinz should do in this situation. His research found that different children judged the action as right or wrong, and found that these reasons changed as children got older, and he wanted to do more research to understand why this was the case. The moral development theory is divided into 3 levels and 6 substages. The pre-conventional morality level is the first to occur around the age of 9, and is when our moral code is shaped by the idea that by obeying authority figures we avoid punishment. At this level, we become aware that different people have different ideas and beliefs that are considered right. During the obedience stage of moral development, the first stage of pre-conventional morality, we make decisions based on how to avoid punishment. The next stage is the self-interest stage, where an individual will act as if they can benefit in some way. Morality is externally controlled in both of these stages. The second level is the conventional morality level that takes place during adolescence and adulthood, when we begin to create a sense of moral standard for ourselves through watching role models and authority figures. This is set through our personal relationships with others and if they see us as a good person by society's standards. The first stage of conventional morality is the conformity stage. It is when individuals act in order to fulfill social roles and a desire to be a good person and secure social approval. The next stage in this level is the authority and social order maintaining stage. This is where we act in order to maintain social order and maintain laws through legal authority. The post-conventional morality level is based off of our own judgment as to what is right and wrong from our understanding of individual rights. This is based off of laws to protect these rights and what we believe is an ethical way of treating others. The first stage of this level is the social contract orientation stage. This states that laws are not fixed and are flexible to accommodate new circumstances. The final stage of this level is the universal ethics principle that is based on shared human values.
In this first scenario, 8-year-old Johnny is going to Target to run errands with his mom and wants to buy a lollipop. However, his mom thinks he has had too much sugar and says no. While his mom is in the produce aisle, he shows her the lollipop he really wants. His mom once again says no, and he ponders the idea of possibly sneaking it into his backpack and bringing it home without his mom noticing. On their way to checkout, his mom sees him still holding the lollipop, so she tells him that if he doesn't put the lollipop away, he won't get to play video games when he gets home. Johnny decides to put the lollipop back and do the right thing to avoid being punished by his mom taking video games away. This demonstrates the obedience stage of Kohlberg's pre-conventional level of moral development. In this stage, Johnny based his moral decision to avoid punishment. In the second scenario, 2 teenage boys named Jack and Matt are on their way to Target to purchase the latest Call of Duty video game that they have been waiting for. When they get to the electronics aisle, Matt sees that the video game costs $50 and tells Jack how easy it would be to steal the game. Jack advises Matt that stealing the game is not a good idea because it is against the law and they could both get in trouble with the police. Matt concludes that Jack is right and that stealing is wrong and against the law. They instead decide to split the price of the game so that they will both be able to play but not have to pay the full price. This is an example of development at the conventional level where individuals act in order to maintain social orders and laws. Our decisions and actions are controlled by legal authority. While there are many differences between Bandura's social learning theory and Kohlberg's moral development theory, there are a few similarities between the two as well. Social learning theory believes individuals shape their behavior on live, verbal, instructional, and symbolic models. Social learning theory is a more broad theory of human development that includes physical, intellectual, and emotional development. In contrast, moral development theory occurs in different levels. This theory believes individuals develop based on factors that influence perception of what is right and wrong. Different from social learning theory, this theory focuses more on just intellectual development. While these are differences between the theories, there are similarities between the two theories as well. Morality can be developed through observation and imitation because observing others can help an individual be able to distinguish between right and wrong. In both social learning theory and moral development theory, there are no definite stopping points in terms of ages of certain times of development.
In conclusion, there is a lot to learn from these two theories. The 3 models of observational learning and the social learning theory show that individuals often learn behaviors by observing their peers and imitating their behavior. It is important to think about your own behavior because you never know who is watching you and who may follow the example that you set. The main takeaway from the moral development theory is to consider how others' moral reasoning is validated through their experience and education as they develop and go through the 3 levels of moral development.